Hello, my name is Yaroslav Rosamacho. I'm Field CTO at Netskope. Today I would like to demonstrate the power of Netskope Secure Service Edge platform when it comes to stopping insider threat. In this demo, I will show how Netskope CASB, Secure Web Gateway, Cloud Firewall, DLP, UEBA all work together to prevent quite sophisticated kill chains. For this demo, I will be looking at fictitious Bob's Bank. Now, Bob's Bank is a small niche investment bank that is run by Bob Gilbert, CEO, president, and founder of the bank. We also have Mona Faulkner. Mona is Senior Vice President of Sales. She is responsible for all the sales and operations at Bob's Bank. She's really right-hand person for Bob. And then we have Tony Cross, a sales manager at Bob's Bank. And Tony wasn't recently meeting his sales targets. He is expecting to be laid off shortly. He hasn't been making his number for a number of quarters. Bob's Bank is a modern investment bank using modern IT solutions such as Okta for single sign-on and Salesforce as their CRM system. We'll look at events that unfolded at Bob's Bank without a Netskope platform. So Bob's Bank is currently not using Netskope platform, so we see what kind of damage can potentially disgruntled employee create without proper security controls in place. So we'll begin our story with Tony Cross. Tony begins his day by, of course, logging into salesforce.com. He expects to be laid off shortly, so as many sales managers, he wants to steal some contacts, some confidential information from Bob's Bank so he could leverage that in his next employment. As you can see, Salesforce.com is integrated with Okta, so Tony needs to log in with his corporate credentials. It's all customized with a picture of Bob's Bank in the background. And it seems that his access was already redacted, so he doesn't have access to files here, but what to do? Maybe, just maybe, he can guess password of his manager, Mona. So he opens incognito web browser window, because, well, no, you cannot be tracked when you're incognito. So he then attempts to log in as Mona and tries to guess her password. So maybe it's her favorite color. That didn't work. Could be her favorite food. No, that didn't work either. Oh, mother's maiden name. Tony knows that. And that didn't work either. Okay, what should we do? Okay, maybe he can find some advice on hack forums. So he Googles hack forums, and there are some hack forums that he finds. It's actually quite surprising how much quite dangerous information you can find on the internet without having to go to Tor and other dark places. So while navigating and reading articles on hack forums, Tony found that he can create his own Okta instance free of charge. So he creates dev Okta instance, gives it look and feel of Bob's Bank Okta. So looks exactly the same, except the URL is a little bit different. So he has administrative access, Tony Hacker at tony.local, into that Okta instance. He goes into that and he sets up two things. So first of all, he sets imaginary Salesforce application, which is simply URL redirect to corporate Salesforce. And he also creates directory integration with an LDAP server that allows him to get clear text usernames and passwords of anyone who attempts to log into his Okta instance. So all he needs to do now is to start LDAP server that would happily authenticate everybody. For that, he launches an instance in AWS. He creates EC2 instance on his own personal account. And then he goes into that instance via SSH. Right, he already installed Okta agent on this instance and integrated that with LDAP on the loopback. All he needs to do now is to capture packets on loopback interface, looking at LDAP name and LDAP password that is carried clear text between Okta agent and LDAP server. Okay, now finally Tony needs to lure Mona into the trap to get her password. So for that he sends Mona a message and he uses URL shortener to obfuscate the fact that he is sending her to some dodgy personal Okta instance. So he uses that URL shortener and sending a message, hey Mona, here is a hot lead I was talking about, and then some innocent looking link. Share that, and now let's wait. While Tony is waiting, let's take a look at events that are unfolding from Mona's perspective. So Mona starts her day a little bit later than Tony. She again logs into Salesforce as the first thing to do. Check how her sales team is doing. Okay, and it seems that she's got a new notification. Tony sending a message saying that, hey Mona, here is a hot lead I was talking about, and the URL, of course, Mona goes ahead and clicks on that link from colleague. For some reason it's asking for authentication again, but yeah, I guess these things happen. Of course, she doesn't pay attention that it's some kind of wrong Okta instance, dev something. It looks exactly like Bob's Bank Okta instance, and Google Chrome conveniently suggests Mona to provide autocomplete username and password. That's very nice of Google. Signing in. And it, of course, gets her to her salesforce.com once again and shows this opportunity that she's already discussed with Tony. That's not really a hot lead, that's as cold as it gets. Not sure why he sent that. Maybe he's so desperate to retain his job, trying any trick he can get. And look, Tony got Mona's password. Oof, he would never have guessed that. Maybe Mona is not that IT literate as Tony has thought. Okay, now with that password, Tony should be able to log into Mona's Salesforce. Let's see if that works. So Mona at bobsbank.com and this lovely password, sign in. Apparently it works. Look at that. Tony got into salesforce.com on behalf of Mona. He now has access to files that he so aspired to get. Look at those files. IPO plans highly confidential, operating budget, Tony performance review. Wonderful. He, of course, go ahead and downloads all those files. And to create as much damage as possible on his way out, he deletes those files after downloading. Good luck restoring all those files from backups. Downloading operational budget, Tony performance review, download and delete that. Okay, so that's quite a bit of damage. But then Tony remembers that on hack forums, while he was researching Okta and so on and so forth, he found a link to a lovely Excel file that contains a malicious macro. It's called weapon. The file that he downloaded very conveniently called operating budget new. So he then goes ahead and uploads that into Salesforce on behalf of Mona. So if somebody discovers something, all the fault goes to Mona, of course. And he shares it with Bob Gilbert, President and CEO of Bob's Bank. So, of course, Bob is working closely with Mona, expects files from her all the time. Chances are that he will just goes ahead and opens that file. Now Tony needs to set up command and control center, which will be simply TCP server listening on port 12345 for connections from anybody who wants to connect to it, and waits. While Tony is waiting, let's take a look at events from Bob's perspective. So Bob had some meetings in the morning, starting his day in the office after lunchtime, logs into Salesforce. He actually expects some updates from Mona. He has, of course, access to files. shared with me. Let's see if Mona did those updates to operating budget. It's now called operating budget new. Interesting. Let's download that Excel file. And of course, as it's the case in many investment banks, it's very common to use Excel files with macro. So when Excel file is coming from a trusted location, it is often executed automatically. So Bob downloaded that file and simply goes ahead and opens it in Excel. Not quite the data that he was expecting, but yeah, not sure what's happening there. Anyway, he'll look into that a little bit later. He'll talk to Mona about this. But meanwhile, he has a number of calls, very important calls he needs to make. So he goes into Salesforce, into contacts to check on some of his colleagues there. While he's doing that, let's go back to Tony. And oh, look, somebody connected to that command and control center. Let's see what kind of privileges we have. Administrator level privileges. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so we have administrator level privileges to CEO machine. Okay, we can do all sorts of things with that. Let's, for example, make some screenshots. In order to do that, Tony downloads this very convenient Near CMD tool that allows making screenshots. You can even make screenshots on a regular interval, for example, every 5 seconds to snatch something interesting. So he makes just one screenshot, random PNG, so it wouldn't look suspicious, and uploads that to his personal Dropbox instance. With Dropbox, anybody can register a free account, get API key, and upload files programmatically to it. So now Tony has access to all Bob's contacts. In summary, Tony created quite a lot of damage. He managed to steal password of Mona, get into salesforce.com on behalf of Mona, download lots of confidential files, upload malicious file, share it with Bob Gilbert, CEO, get command and control center running, and run commands on behalf of Bob from Bob's machine, stealing contacts and potentially doing some other malicious actions. If only Netskope platform was here to prevent all these events. But in order to demonstrate what Netskope could actually do about this, I actually had Netskope client running on all these machines, on Tony, Mona, and Bob. And Netskope tenant was configured in monitor-only mode. So it didn't prevent anything, but from alerts, we can see what Netskope could have prevented if it was actively preventing. Look at that, so many events. So of course, first of all, Tony was trying to access this hack forum that he was not supposed to do. He tried to brute force Mona password, so we see bulk fail login triggered 3 times in a row. Yeah, he tried to guess Mona's password 3 times. Then we see that non-corporate Okta instance, he logged in successfully into wrong Okta instance as tonyhacker.local. Of course, Netskope platform is instance aware and can control, detect, and prevent or apply different policies not only to Okta but to other SaaS services as well. So he logged in into a wrong Okta instance. We see who is the user. We see what was the username that he was using when logged into that instance, and so on and so forth. Then he created EC2 VM in unsanctioned public cloud service. Again, it was detected and all the rich metadata is available. Where was that created? What was the VM, and so on and so forth. Then Mona logged in successfully into wrong Okta instance. That of course also was detected by Netskope. And we see our UEBA detected insider download delete. So when Tony was downloading and then deleting files in a row, that was detected by our UEBA engine as a potential insider threat. Then we can see that Tony downloaded malware that was detected by our anti-malware engine, which is actually quite impressive because that malware I wrote myself for this demo. It's bespoke malware. yet it was detected by our engine, despite the fact that it was transferred securely over HTTP2 from this website. Then he uploaded that into corporate salesforce.com. Again, we can see that we detect not only downloads but also uploads when it comes to both malware and DLP. And then we see that Bob downloaded then this malware from salesforce.com. And when Tony, on behalf of Bob, uploaded screenshot, we see the DLP policy triggered, screenshot detected. Just because it was an image that looked like a screenshot, it was detected by our machine learning, deep learning based AI algorithm that can detect screenshots, and that can be used in inline protection policies to alert or to block uploads and downloads screenshots as required. We can see that he uploaded that into Dropbox. Again, we have all the information about Dropbox service and instance that he was using. In addition to alerts, we of course record all kinds of events that are associated with user activities. Here, for example, we have network events that catch non-web events that are associated with users. And here we can see that Tony have accessed some strange destination IP address on destination port 22, so connected to it via SSH, transferred some traffic there. And then we see Bob connecting again to the same destination IP on port 12345. Clearly, if I would be a security researcher investigating this incident, it would be immediately obvious to me who is the user behind all these malicious activities. It's worth highlighting that our cloud firewall, of course, supports user identity information. Last but not least, I would like to have a quick look at our Cloud Exchange system. This Netskope tenant that I was demonstrating is integrated with a Netskope Cloud Exchange, and in Netskope Cloud Exchange, based on information that we collect from Netskope events, alerts, and also malware that is detected, we can share it with other systems. So here I have integration between Netskope and CrowdStrike, so that indicators of compromise from CrowdStrike can be shared to Netskope, and indicators from Netskope could be shared with CrowdStrike within seconds. So here I have, if I look at threat IOCs, I see this is MD5 hash of the malware, the bespoke malware that Tony has downloaded, was detected by Netskope, would have been prevented if Netskope was blocking, but in any case it was shared with CrowdStrike, and then through CrowdStrike it was sent to all CrowdStrike endpoint sensors so that it would be mitigated automatically if this malware arrives through some other channels. With that, I would like to thank you for your time watching this demo, and I hope that this demo clarified how integrated Netskope Secure Service Edge platform can stop the most sophisticated internal and external attacks.